Hello, my name is Gail and I'm a physiotherapist at St Christopher's. Welcome to our first video in the Fit for Life programme. Today we're going to be talking about goal setting. If you haven't seen the first video that introduces you to the programme, I suggest you go and watch that now. It's on the Fit for Life playlist on our YouTube channel. Welcome to the session. Today we're going to focus on setting goals. Hopefully at the end of this session, you'll have a good idea of some goals that you might like to set, why it's important to set goals, the process of how we set goals, and the pathway on which we travel to achieve our goals. These are some questions that you might like to ask yourself when you start thinking about a goal. What's important to you and what matters to you? What would you like to do? And what are your hopes? What's important to you right now? What is it you want to achieve? And what are your immediate and longer term priorities? Some of you will know straight away what it is. Others might need to dig a little deeper. You'll all have something that you want to achieve. Don't worry if it feels daunting at the moment. We'll break it down and we'll look at the steps to achieve it. So what sort of goal should I set? One of the most important things about setting a goal is that it's your goal. It's not a goal around what you think somebody else thinks you should do, or what your neighbour or your son or your other family or friends think you should do. It's got to be important to you if you're going to be able to stay motivated to achieve it. It's important that it gives you a sense of meaning or a sense of achievement that's associated with it. From research, we know that setting an aspirational goal, one that stretches us, really challenges us and pushes us, means we're more likely to achieve more. The sense of achievement when a goal is harder to achieve is greater. So, we're going to use a framework called SMART to help us to achieve our goal. So, SMART it means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. And we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. The SMART goals help us focus on the goal and make it targeted. So the goal needs to be specific. So if you come up with your head of a goal around wanting to walk better, then need to ask ourselves, what does better look like to you? It's not what I think, it's what you think. How would you know that it's better? So it might be so that other people don't stare at me, so that I can walk further, so I can walk faster. All these things might be classed as walking better. It's what makes it better to you that's important. When we've thought about that, we then need to think about how we can make it measurable. So, for example, if you wanted to walk faster, we might then say, I want to walk to the shops in under 10 minutes. We need to make it achievable. Is it possible to do this? It can still be aspirational and thought not to be initially achievable, but it's important that it's realistic with what you're trying to do. For example, setting a goal of losing a stone in a week would not be achievable, but doing it 8 weeks might be an achievable goal and might take a lot of hard work and dedication. The timing is also important. We want to think about having an end point. When are we going to review this goal? When are we going to have achieved it by? This might be really clear. It might be around a particular date, a particular event. It might not be. It might be just in 8 weeks' time. But we need to be very clear and have a review so that we've got something to work towards. A good goal will be made up of several smaller steps or little goals that will help us to work towards the bigger goal, and they'll have their own time frame. So this is what your goal might feel like at the beginning. Insurmountable, a big hurdle to climb. What we need to do is break it down into smaller pieces. So instead of thinking, well, I've got to go out today and walk to the shops in 10 minutes because that was my goal. Actually, it needs training, it needs practice, it needs building up to. So my first goal might be to walk to the shops in the first place. Give it a go, see what it feels like. My next goal might be to do this for 3 times a week for 3 weeks and time how long it takes me once a week. Then I can monitor my progress. let's have a little look at this whole goal and write this down. So we've now clarified, I want to be able to walk to the shops, which is half a mile away, within 10 minutes by the end of June. The half a mile is important because it allows us to fulfill our goals in other ways. For example, if we went out for a walk somewhere else and we managed to complete the distance in the time, we'll still achieve the essence of the goal, which is walking better. So our little steps are to walk the shops today and to walk to the shops 3 times a week and time it once a week. This is a really good form that we're going to use to help us to plan our goals. So at the top here, you can see where you write your goal. Remember, that needs to be SMART. Then thinking about how confident you feel that you can achieve this goal. If you're really not very confident, we need to think, is this the best starting goal for you? Maybe a smaller stepping stone goal that we formalise would be a better way to get you going on that path. Thinking then about what you need to do to achieve that goal. What are the steps that you can take? What are the mini goals, the mini steps? And then also what help I might need from other people. Am I the sort of person that needs encouragement? Do I need to just quietly get on with it on my own? Or do I need somebody going, come on, you can do it. You know what works for you. You know how you react best. But it's really important to think about that and plan it. So then we need to think about what if. Now, any goal that is hard work, that is aspirational, that requires dedication, especially, is unlikely to go on a smooth path that has no bumps. We need to think about what might stop us achieving our goal, what might be the barriers that we come across during this work, and then how we can overcome them. What am I going to do when things get tough? Because we don't want to give up. This goal is important to you, and we need to stay focused. And if we can plan for those things now, we'll feel much more able to cope with them when those tough things happen. So if we come back to my walking goal, what will happen when it rains every day for a week? I really don't think I can get out there. How will I face that? Do I have a coat? Do I have an umbrella? Am I prepared to do that? Am I prepared to make that sacrifice? Do I also accept that maybe I won't be able to walk as quickly, rainy and maybe a bit slippery? Putting that plan into action, writing it down so we feel prepared. By thinking about this now and planning for it, we'll be more prepared when the difficulties do arise. It's really important to review your goals. This is a little review sheet. So don't just write it down and put it in a drawer and forget about it. If it's important to you, it should be there, prominent, and be able to be something that you're working towards. It'll help keep you motivated if you have it around. You might decide to use this review. So what went well? What didn't go so well? How did you feel about it? And then what next? Regularly. You might choose to use it once a week. You might choose to use it every time you've done one of the mini goals that you're working towards on the big goal sheet. Or you might do it at the end. But regular review is really important to help you to reflect when things haven't gone so well and what stopped you carrying on working towards your goal. And thinking about then how you can overcome that in the future. But it is also important to think about when things have gone really well, when you're making good progress towards your goal. What went well? What's helped you to stay motivated when you weren't sure about doing it? And then you can use those next time you're struggling. If a goal is important enough and aspirational enough, it's likely there'll be times when things do get tough. And reflecting on the good times and what went well and those skills is important. It's important not to give up at that time. This is a progress. This is a road. Okay? It's not just about the destination. It's about the journey that you go on, because that process of working towards our goal is enriching and gives us a sense of purpose and fulfillment in and of itself. These documents will be down below in the description, so you'll be able to fill them in and yourself. If you have any questions about setting your goals, making them smart, or how to break them down, please comment below, or you can email fitforlife@stchristopher's.org.uk. Again, that link will be below. If you've completed your goal sheets, you might like to go on to the next video in this series. Thank you very much for listening.